Okay, sorry everybody. We, as usually happens when we're talking about real stuff, the internet failed on us. So we're gonna start out inexplicably. All our phones were working, but
Make of it what you will.
we're gonna get started again. Try and pick back up for part 2 of our interview, and try and get started where we left off, and see where it heads from there.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, we were on the train station scene. That's why they cut it. I think it's like this part of the course for us on our team. We always have this happen, and we joke about it. You know, it's like whatever it cuts off, it's like pay attention to that section. So let's see what was so upsetting. Here we go. Here you are. There it is. The little girl at the train station. Now remember, the Wachowskis actually said the little girl on their fan page, she's just a subplot, right? They said she's just a subplot. She is not a subplot.
I gotta turn your share screen on again.
Okay.
Okay, now you should be able to do it.
All right. Do you see the graphic, or am I'm gonna share? Hold on. I gotta go share. Share.
Okay.
All right.
There we go. All right, you're up.
This is the biggie. This is the big. See, this would put us right back in court for a win. Just this alone. And what's interesting is you're looking at a little girl at the train station, right? And at the fan page of the Wachowskis, which you can see what they actually looked like before, they claim that she's just a subplot. That's it, just a subplot. Then when I kept talking about how important she is through Discovery and things like that, when they were, questioning and everything else, then they started to say the little girl matters. Okay. The little girl is actually integral because that's me trying to unite my family. So that's why there's a little girl and a little girl hugging at the end. She's actually supposed to be hugging Neo at the end and pointing at the sun and saying a final line that ties everything together. And that's why you don't have a satisfying ending. They took that out and just kept the same scenes, but they lifted it and didn't make any sense. In fact, there's a whole article that talks about an argument. They say that they argued on set how to end it. Well, if you wrote the full script out, you wouldn't have a debate on that. And so yeah.
So in your ending, Neo wasn't, he came back to life for real. Like they didn't leave a cliffhanger of him just kind of hanging there dead.
No, yeah. What happened was they replaced him in the role that I had, the historic character I had that balances the equation, right? It deals with our free will. And if there's an architect, if an architect is in a program that he's immortal, right? What's his problem? This is why the ending, you set up the ending for a satisfying ending and how you balance the equation. I think it's important for audiences. Might as well hit it now. If you're an architect in a program, it's not battery power isn't your problem, which I love the question. We're going to address that about the field of pods and battery power. It's the lack of stimulation for your mind. If you're Joe, if you're immortal and you're going to live forever, you're going to maybe run out of stimulus, right? That might be a problem. You might go crazy from lack of stimulus, right? Not that you're the most beautiful woman in the world as your wife, but the thing is that you may start to lack stimulus, right? So what happens is the idea is the agents stir up trouble and we have free will, but the architect knows everything we're going to do as free will. The question rises, do we have free will if the architect knows exactly what we're going to do with our free will? And the answer is be unpredictable, be outside the box, be dynamic, right? That's one way to work this. The agents stir up trouble to stimulate the mind of the architect. And so what happens is that gets tiring after a while. So he has Zion set aside with untainted humanity to be brought out at the right time by an ambiguous oracle who can function inside out the program, to bring them out at the right time to see Christ come back, see? So the only figure that works for the
great architect.
Yeah, the only one that works. So what you see at the crater is supposed to be the architect looking like Christ, right? And you see Christ actually coming back. Man tries to outwit God, God outwits man. That's a running theme in the Matrix story, The Immortals. And so what happens is in the end, the architect doesn't expect anybody to show up, right? You have the identical figures. That's why they kept that scene where Neo's hit, who takes his place, and he looks down, his palms are bleeding, dripping blood. That's because it's supposed to be the Christ. And so
Neo, have you ever met Keanu Reeves?
There's a lot of talk about us meeting, but the problem is he's actually in on the theft. They used it to save his career. If he was the good guy he's supposed to be, groomed by Hollywood, the suits groomed him, we'd be meeting by now. But the thing is that he's actually part of the problem. They saved his career. He kind of jokes around on set and things like that, but it was the suits that insisted he play Neo to save his career. So he's actually polished by Hollywood as one of their tools. Okay. So he's not a genuine person that we actually meet. And that's why he's getting so much hype now in entertainment with even SpongeBob being resurged. Children are going to see him appear as a normal Keanu Reeves, real face human in the cartoon peeping out of a mirror sponge. You know, it's like, so they're really trying to push them on kids now to indoctrinate them with whatever Hollywood wants. He's the poster child for Hollywood.
Okay.
That's really it. Sorry to say, you know, they did such a good job giving him so much PR to make him into a good guy. He's not. I'm sorry to say. And but that's the way it goes.
Thank you for your candor.
Yeah, I mean, I will. The only way we're going to make it through all this is be open, honest, share our pieces of the puzzle, and be transparent. That's why I make myself available. But back to the question of the train station, not to crush bubbles, just count on honesty. The thing is that to balance the equation, the architect comes back as Christ. The people of Zion are brought out by this ambiguous oracle, and he is now going to have the energy and the stimulus of being worshipped as the returning Christ for all time. His mind will never atrophy. So he's fulfilling something of Judeo-Christianity that we're conditioned to respond to give our worship over, right? For most of us. And it's like, so the question rises in the spiritual circles then, a lot of religious people get behind the story, is he doing good? If the architect who's evil, right, we'll say evil, right, from an evil person in history, is simply coming back as Christ to get that stimulus, he's fulfilling everything we need from a return of Christ, right? And so that's all he wants. He's not going to do anything else. He just needs that stimulus, and everybody's happy thinking he's Christ. So is he not completing that requirement that we have? And we're conditioned to give our free will over and everything, which raises questions for us on how we're proceeding. So what happens is the real one shows up in the ending. They face off. The little girl from the train station is renewed after the palm bleeding thing. Into the crater goes the architect. The pulse wave comes out exactly as they had it, rejuvenates the earth under the little girl exactly as they had it from the train station. And then you have a cutaway with you hear the oracle and theirs hearing the little girl calling out to her, right, at the bench, and then hugging her and pointing to the sun. In mine, you have Neo having watched this battle between the Christ figure and the architect, identical figures. He watches the pulse wave come back over him. His little girl is restored to life. He lost his little girl earlier in the movie as an older woman when he's brought in the program. He sees her as an older woman dying of Alzheimer's with burn scars on her face, right, from her house being firebombed. And Smith agent in mine actually had been there causing all these things to happen. When he's brought back in the programs, a lot of layers to this, Neo is the one he's supposed to acclimate to the program because the architect needs that stimulation. So he thinks that the Smith agent actually saved his daughter, and this is bittersweet feeling of at least he saved my daughter, which stimulates the architect's mind more, see? And they hate each other. So it's that, and then he finds out at the end, the audiences do too, that the little girl, he didn't save his daughter, the Christ did. And so the little girl points to the sun and says, that's the man that pulled me out of the fire. There's your satisfying ending. There's your balance the equation.
And as intricately and passionately that you can speak on the subject, because I mean, you can, like you said, it's your child.
Maybe. Yep.
And what do you say to people? I don't know how they could say this, but people will say, this man is out for money.
Show me the money. Even Sophia Stewart sent a thread through, saying like, it's funny because she's a plant from USC. That's what she is. No picking, but that's what she is. And I have many tapes of her calling me. In fact, when the news broke, saying, Tom, you're the missing link. You can claim Matrix 2 and 3. I'll claim 1.
Is that the woman who supposedly said that that the oracle was based on her?
Yeah, that's the one. Let me show you something right here. This may help you. Where is it? I think this will help. Yeah, she's the one. She was planted to be the first claimant, so that when I came along, when I finally discovered, everybody would be like, wait, no, he's the second. It's like, second son. So her job was to make claims, and I'm supposed to be out. Here is a email she sends. Wait, I'm trying to find here it is. This might open eyes. Let's make it. I'm going to share a screen and show you something really cool. This will show people too that she's been in contact with me, not just in contact with me, but trying to handle me. So here you go. And this is part of the playbook. So I think it's worth sharing. Let me just share it right now. We'll go right to it. So what you're going to see right now, tell me, am I up?
It's not up yet. Oh, here it comes.
Okay, look at this.
Okay.
This is Sophia Stewart. What is she doing? This is a friend request from Sophia Stewart to me, right? If I push her, yeah. Sophia Stewart claims that I am an egomaniac and that she's passing around that all hosts should not do any interviews. That's her job, right? That's what she's supposed to do. And all this stuff. And she says that I'm all about publicity. What is the name of her company? Do you see it?
All Eyes on Me.
So I think that's kind of a walk yourself.
Did you say she thinks that you're all about what?
All about fame and ego. And she says that I killed my own sons in a cult. And she used the talking points that Warner Brothers wants her to use. So she's a plant from USC. The lady they had for Altered Carbon to claim it is also from USC. They draw from the same grounds every time. So she was failing in her writing, and so they picked her out of USC, and it even says Southern California right there. They pick her out of there and give her a career to basically be a shill and a handler. And she's the one that called me right away. So what happened was her own guy, here I'm going to show you something else right now. This is actually from Sophia Stewart to her main guy, Nicholas Jackson, who worked for her, was one of the guys that called me right away. This is her posting. And wait, that's not it. That's not it. Sorry, that's not it. Where was it? Anyway, there's something from her. There's an email from her that she sent that I wanted to show you. This is pretty freaky amazing. I wonder if I got it right here. It basically says that, yeah, I'm an egomaniac and I'm nobody. It's the language that the Wachowskis use in their article. You know, he'll be famous for nothing. He's just a footnote. He killed his own sons, things like that.
But they do acknowledge that you are a footnote.
You're so smart. I love you guys. Yes, yes, yes. That's it. That's what I said. I said, well, at least they're giving us credit, you know. It's like we mean something, you know. So yeah.
This might be off topic, but have you heard that Neil Patrick Harris is signing on to actually be a character in part 4? Matrix? Have you heard anything about that?
No, that's a bad move on his part. We're about to put an injunction on Matrix 4. So it's a bad move on his part. And
I'm not, this is allegedly, I'm not sure if he signed on completely or not, but ScreenRant.com, I'll give credit to them that they broke that story, that Neil Patrick Harris. Actually, let's see here.
See, they have to raise Matrix 4 now before we put an injunction on them. With the attorney we have now, we can take them to court and shred them. And so if the Wachowskis get it made before we come forward now, that's why it timed out after so long. Now, after I was run down by a car and my son was killed by the car, after I was missed, we had a conversation on the phone. We said, be careful, Dad, be careful. And he's killed by police in the car, FBI.
I can't imagine the horror that you've gone through. That when you describe losing your son in that manner, my heart just,
well, thank you.
My heart goes out to you. Truly.
Well, thank you, because what's interesting is they'll hammer you any angle they can. They have their talking points. The shills will come on and say, oh, he looks like he's on speed or he's on crack or, you know, things like that. Any kind of thing they can throw. He looks bipolar. It's like, no, actually, I'm not.
Okay, I found the article from ScreenRant.com. Matrix 4 theory. Neil Patrick Harris is the villain. What villain would he be?
Meth agent. But I mean, unless what they're saying now is to get around my copyright, even though they, forced their issue and didn't give us a day in court and saying you lost. They're saying they're writing from the Matrix world. So what's happening is the Wachowskis aren't really writing it. They have other writers writing it for them. That's the word from inside Hollywood. So they save their face. The Wachowskis are actually in big trouble with the cartel and or cabal.
Which cartel?
Cabal. I mean the Hollywood cabal, which mixed with FBI.
Okay. The Hollywood cartel.
They broke the rules. They broke the rules, and I'll show you that in a second. They broke the rules severely. They were supposed to pick from one of the 347 titles I talked about, and which they took the time to copyright my title, which really revealed them, and that's what alerted the Copyright Office something was fishy in Denmark. So yeah, but let me quickly do this for you. I think I'll catch up a little bit with you here, and I want to show you this. I'll finish this up since we teased audiences with this. Let me just breeze over this really quick. The full the train station scene was melted down to save on budget. That's what the Wachowskis claimed they would do for the suits. So you have just one static family. They changed the name Brittany to Sati. They like to use the same letters, basically. And you have the train station scene is supposed to be a crowded one is here. If you take the red pill, you can pass through the silvery liquid mirrors, which are the security gates at the train station. So even lifting the image of the silvery mirror, where if you take the red pill, you pass your hand through it, they lift that and cheapened it where it's supposed to be integral to the story, where that's how Neo gets trapped between worlds at the train station, is when he's cut from the program, he can no longer pass through the silver liquid mirrors. That's something?
This is heavy stuff, and I'm so happy that our readers, our viewers are getting firsthand, a lot of information that they now can go and research, because
right.
I mean, most people that we know are huge fans of The Matrix, so this is groundbreaking.
Well, let me show you another one then. I'm glad you like it, and stop me when you feel like it too. Let me show you something really cool. I mean, what's another iconic part of The Matrix? Would you say robot-like agents?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at robot-like agents. So here's the original screenplay on the side. I know it's in small print here. If we boost it up a bit, let's take a look who's here. The acting director and registrar of the Copyright Office, the supervising copyright specialist, Veronica, signing it personally, is the ones that are real heroes for me too. They stepped in and they gave me this bolted, gold sealed, blue ribbon script. Keep in mind, there's no copyright on Matrix 1, 2, and 3, but there's a copyright on the title, The Immortals. And so let's look at where robot agents come from, right from its own pages. And right over here, you're gonna see, let's take a look at it right here. Where'd it go? Here, right here. Duh, it's marked. Agent Steve Davis, Jim's former agent from the CIA office. He seems robot-like as his eyes flick to the left for an instant. Now, they overblown everything. I loved your question in the beginning about, what they lifted, right? So here you have that whole thing where, when they see somebody and they start going, blah, 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 their head starts flapping around, that's because they overblown the idea the eyes flick to the left for an instant, which means they're receiving orders, they're transforming. See? So there you go. And here's something cool I think fans of the work would get totally. Look over here on this page. First of all, here's the room of monitors down here. The room of monitors. Immortals, Global Security, 60 monitors, the room of monitors. Now, they cheapen that too. Here we have a picture of the, very small, the architect with all these monitors. If you're, first of all, an architect in the program, what the hell are you going to do with those monitors? Eavesdrop, peeping Tom? What are you going to do? It doesn't give you any information, right? Your agents do it. Your agents are the ones, like the main agents monitor each of the agents, and you see what they see. And if they show fear or any feelings, they're terminated immediately. That's what it's supposed to be. They even kept the scene, guys, of the Smith coming in on the, Smith had pulled the plug when he's interrogating his earplug when he's talking to Morpheus, interrogating him, right? They don't make any sense of it. They don't make any sense of it. And then they have the guy come, the three agents appear at the door and they're going, no, 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 with your finger. What the hell? What's supposed to be is, in my screenplay, the Smith agent character does have his connection removed, which means instant termination. But since he's the head agent, they don't. And that's what Neo's character downloads to use the memories of Smith. That's why he lives the memories of Smith harming his family, his little girl and his daughter in flames. And that's why he suffers when he's going to look for the dome, using the memories of Smith in my piece. And that's why Trinity character has to go along with him, because he's suffering, reliving the memories of Smith enjoying hurting his family. Okay. That's why. So everything is your first question. Everything is cheapened.
Tom,
even this. Yeah.
Right, well, I wanted in wrapping up, will you tell our viewers where they can find you online?
Absolutely. Redpillrising.org. Redpillrising.org is the website.
And what is your Twitter handle?
Just Tom Althouse.
Great, yeah. So they can give you a follow. And yeah. Like I said, I did want to end by really talking about your work as an artist, because your work as a writer, having, with your claims of being basically swindled for your art, what other outlets do you have? I know that you had mentioned that you were a sculptor. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. I do. There's an echo there. That's weird. All these echoes are happening. It's like, I guess I don't want to hear that one. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of my work has been stolen. It's weird. I've had, part of the playbook is to steal things that are personally valuable to you, murder your son, steal your life, take away your memories, basically like the screenplay that I wrote and the Matrix story. And it's like, so that's happened. So a lot of my artwork is gone from break-ins.
Wow.
Yeah. So I do have some child work on the back there for you. there's one of the first ink scratches I did was of Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce tribe. And it shows you, what would the artist actually be developing in a young life towards to create a piece like the Matrix story. And so what is that? What are the themes that are actually in there is about, friendship, family, loyalty, justice. And so Chief Joseph really represents that very highly, along with other great figures in history. So, and then you see like there's a piece of a plant that I drew in detail in college hanging back there too in a pen and ink. And what I thought was, I had an astrophysics just recently call me, and he's saying, like NASA scientists call now, and all these people call from around the world, which is great. I make my number available now, and I love hearing their thoughts, and they're fans of the work. It's really cool. But I said, no, life will never get boring. When we have all the answers, they're afraid that, we want no more stimulus, which goes right with my idea of the architect not having stimulus. And I said, no, there'll all be fascination. If we look at even a blade of grass and we have the wonderment of a child, we'll never get bored of the world or our lives with each other. So that was the answer. As far as sculptures, I've done sculptures, figurines. I'm actually now met a woman I actually adore. And after all the gang stalking where they, any woman that liked me would be approached, I've got people like Toby Kiefo, Leo Simon, Kathleen Nolan. I have a long list of beautiful women that came and would come up to me going like, I can't breathe around you kind of thing. I love your eyes, whatever, I love you. And so I started dating 2 weeks. Yeah, they just said that. That's what they said. It's love talk. But 2 weeks later, they're like saying, 2 weeks later, they're saying, oh, I was approached. I can't hang with you. And they'll say things, anything possible. So that's part of the playbook. People they don't even know, right? And it works.
It just seems such a lonely existence like that.
Well, that's what I say about those that listen in. We'll hear echoes. We'll even hear male voices on the phone. We do. They want you to know, because then you'll sound crazy, but whatever, it's fine. Now we're turning the tables because now the contacts are saying we won. And I have them on tape, so it's over. Anyway, so yeah, so it's like, these guys are listening in. What kind of life is that? And we even talk to them. When we hear the male echo voices, we'll go, you guys, I feel so sorry for you. I mean, you're listening in our lives. You need to get your own, get your own life. Like, what are you going to hear from us? We're going to talk about we love each other. What are you going to do? So yeah, so it's really nice to come out of this woods now and feel like we're going to help children and help others and write the playbook so that, others know if you're going through this, you're not alone, we're here. One of the big tactics is to isolate and keep alone. That's why they destroy you and you're supposed to commit suicide, or they'll do it for you. Instead, you did it yourself. I was hauled off on a 302 where they tried to claim through a local police chief who works for the FBI and is connected to my sister. It's a long story. They really go the full 9 yards when you've written the work. And they're trying to claim, mass murder. I'm like, really? Seriously? Really? Me? So
yeah, you do not strike me as the next, what's
I'm a killer, yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer or something. My friends.
I was going to say Ted Bundy. Because you're an attractive man, so but you don't strike me as a Ted Bundy.
I know. I look more like, what's his name? The guy from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But the thing is, like, yeah, it's like, even my talks are all about, my friends will go like,
Rogers.
They're like, you want everybody to hold hands. I'm like, what's wrong with that? So it's
in this world right now, we're living in unprecedented times. We need a little kumbaya in our lives.
Okay, you got the right guy, because I'm the bleeding heart. Even the woman I know now, it's like, she's such a sweetheart. She's just like me too. We're like joking that people are gonna be like, if they come to our parties, when we're all done this, they'll be like, well, all these guys on the balcony, and we'll be giving out barf bags, because it's like, it'll be like, that's too much sweetness. Yeah. But anyway,
Tom, okay, so you've got Red Pill Rising. Yeah. RedPillRising.org. Also follow him on Twitter at Tom Althouse.
Yeah,
that's the handle.
Yep,
and we just want to thank you for being with us. You've really blown our minds and cracked open a lot of questions that I know we have and maybe our viewers. So thank you.
Well, let me give you one gift as we go. The Field of Pods. You brought it up initially. I got to tell you what it is. The Field of Pods is the architect bringing back his top 100 on secondaries that match physically his top 100. And that's why you have one person at a time writhing in pain with all the tubes coming to. It's actually integral to the story where the architect is revitalizing his top 100. Okay. It's not about battery power. It's not you can cook up cows and get more power. It's not about humans hooked up. It was a slap in my face to hook up a battery. It was a mockery. So yeah, okay. It's actually, that's where it comes from.
Well, Godspeed to you in court.
Thank you. We'll get it.
Thanks so much for having me.
No, you guys are just a beautiful couple. I love you guys, and I hope I get to. So yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
All right.